Okay. Likewise, we have finished the previous topic or the previous unit. Then we will conduct one unit test on the same for the next lecture. Now, today we are going to start the second unit, that is RWD, that is a responsive web design. Okay. Now the important part is that whatever terms we have seen at the time of lecture, you have to implement complete terms or complete whatever concept we have seen at the time of a lecture. You have to implement it at the time of practical. I think we have finished the canvas also. We have seen the images, how to include the images, how to create the canvas. What do you mean by canvas? Okay, all these topics we have finished in the practical time. Sorry, at the time of lecture. So you have to implement all the basic elements of the HTML file. I think you have finished that practical, but you have to just if anybody is not completed the practical, then you have to complete all the basic elements. You have to check out how it is going to include, how it is going to look. Then you have to complete the canvas practicals, how to create the canvas, what do you mean by canvas, then what are the attributes or the properties for the canvas, why, how we are going to use the canvas, because canvas is having the various methods, various properties. With the help of that method, actually we can draw the image, or we can draw the text, we can create the gradient within a canvas. So to understand the that how to draw, for that we require the various methods. Okay, to understand that methods, you have to implement it during the practical time. Then CSS, it's a very important part for your web application development career. If you want to do the career in web application, then CSS is very important part. Okay, so you should know how to create the cascading style sheet, how to insert it in the HTML file. Again, it is having various terms. You can learn it during the practical time also. Okay, simply we have seen here the syntax to create the CSS style sheet, like we have a selector or the element name, opening curly bracket, then attribute colon value semicolon, then next attribute colon value. Likewise, we can include a number of attributes of the respective element, and each and every attribute value pair should be separated by colon, and value and attribute in between we have to place the colon, and each and every pair of attribute and value, it is separated by the semicolon. Okay, then you have to close the that particular element properties or the style sheet with the closing curly bracket. It is a syntax to write down the CSS, but CSS is very important because whenever you are doing the professional web application development, you have to create your own cascading style sheet. But nowadays we have various templates are available, which is having the ready-made cascading style sheet, so we can directly use it, or we can link it in our HTML page, and accordingly we are going to develop the website. But you should know how to create the cascading style sheet, and if you want to change, then accordingly you have to change the cascading style sheet. Okay, so you have to implement the cascading style sheet practical. At the time of practical, you have to check three different methods. By using that, we have how we are going to include the cascading style sheet into the HTML file. Okay, all these topics you have to execute, or you have to practice during the practical time. Okay, now today we are going to see or start the second unit. Okay, it is the second unit, that is responsive web design. Okay, now it is a little bit different concept. Responsive web design. That means in previous days we have to execute our website or web applications only on the desktop computer or on the laptop. Nowadays we are going to open the web applications or websites on the mobile phone, okay, or on the tablet or on the desktop. It is the normal way, but nowadays we are going to open the web pages or websites on the mobile phone. Or now sometimes the screen of the mobile phone is very small, still almost a page is available on that particular screen. Okay. Or nowadays everybody is having the touch screen mobile or Android app, Android based mobile. So whatever web page you have to open, complete web page is available on your complete screen. Are you getting it? And that concept is nothing but the responsive web design. Responsive web designs, that means whatever web applications you have developed, which will responsive for all the devices, which will responsive or which will properly display on all the devices. That concept is nothing but the responsive web design. Okay, so that we have various techniques by using that we can develop the responsive web design. Then we have a bootstrap loader, with the help of that we can develop the websites. So the syllabus for the same is responsive design. That is what is RWD. These are the topics which we have to complete or which we have to finish in the second unit. Responsive design. What is RWD? Introduction to the RWD techniques, fluid layout, fluid images, and media queries. These are the techniques with the help of that we can develop the RWD website. The introduction to RWD framework. Actually, this framework is readily available, so we can directly use it. And then we are going to see Twitter Bootstrap, then Bootstrap background and features. Getting started with the Bootstrap, then demystifying grid of canvas, Bootstrap components, JS plugin, and customization. All these topics are related to the Bootstrap loader and responsive web design. These topics we have to finish for the second unit. Now, we have one image. With the help of that, you are going to know how what do you mean by responsive web design. We have a single web application, or the I have a single web page. How it is going to display? It is how it is going to display on the desktop, how it is going to display on tablet, and how it is going to display on the phone. Okay, it is the display of the particular web page, or again it is depend upon the device. If the device size is going to decrease, accordingly the web page size is going to decrease or increase. Okay, then here responsive web design is the approach that suggests that design and development should respond to the user's behavior and environment based on screen size, platform, and orientation. Now basically uh, what we are going to say. The meaning of that user's behavior and environment, that means nobody knows which user is going to use which mobile and which user is going to open which website. Okay, it is completely depend on the user requirement, users availability of the resources. So just you as a developer, you have to design the website which is flexible according to the user behavior and environment. Are you getting it? So you have to what we are going to say. Your website or your web application should be changed, or it may be it should be a flexible according to the screen size, platform, and orientation. Okay. Then web pages can be viewed using many different devices, as we have seen, like desktop, tablet, and phone. Your web page should good look and be easy to use regardless of the device. There is no the user or that customer should not have any problem if that particular web page is open on the mobile phone. Otherwise, I have opened one web page on my mobile phone, and regularly I'm scrolling, and I'm zooming, zoom out. Regularly I'm doing it. Suppose I want to read any of the paper which is available on the internet, then it is quite difficult to read that particular paper. Uh, for the mobile. Okay, if it is open in the desktop, then there is no problem. But if it is open in the that mobile phone, then it is going to give some little bit problems. Okay, so you have to make your website responsive for all the devices. It is called a responsive web design when you use CSS and HTML to resize, hide, shrink, enlarge, or move the content to make it look good and on any screen. And as everybody knows, if you want to develop the web application, you should know or you have the knowledge about HTML and CSS. After all, we are going to see the various elements or various tags which are available into the HTML and CSS. With the help of that, we are going to develop the responsive websites. Web pages should not leave out information to fit smaller devices, but rather adapt its content to fit any devices. Whatever information we have to place within a web page, it should be appear on the screen. Then that screen may be small, maybe large, maybe medium, no issue. But whatever content we have to specify on the web page, it should be occur on the screen. Okay. Then one important term actually, whenever before you start the web application development or RWD development, that is the viewport. Okay, now viewport, simply just you have to remember that viewport, it indicates that the area which is visible to the user, or we can say it is the user visible area. Simply just remember the definition regarding the viewport is user visible area. Okay, the viewport is the user visible area of a web page. The viewport varies with the device and will be smaller on a mobile phone than a computer screen. Now, viewport mobile phone to desktop. Okay, now actually we have one syntax with the help of that we can define the viewport. One for web page and a fixed size. Okay. Then what we started surfing the internet using the tablet and mobile phones. Fixed size web pages are too large to fit the viewport. To fix these browsers on these devices, scale down the entire web page to fit the screen. This was not perfect but a quick fix. Okay. As we have discussed previously, we are going to access the internet only on the desktop, but nowadays we are going to access the internet on the tablet or on the mobile. So the screen of the tablet and mobile is less or smaller than the desktop. Accordingly, your website should be fixed on that particular tablet screen or on the mobile screen. Now here we have a meta as an element. With the help of that we can define the viewport. The next topic is setting the viewport. Okay, HTML file introduced a method to let web designer take control over the viewport through the meta tag. Okay, you should include the following meta viewport element in your web page. If you want to develop RWD, then you have to specify, or you have to include the meta element. With the help of that you can specify the viewport. Okay, then meta name is equal to viewport, content is equal to width is equal to device width. The important part is here content. How to manage the content? Manage the content with respect to the device width. Are you getting it? Content. How to manage the content of your web page? You have to manage it with the help of or with respect to the device width. Then initial scale is equal to 1.0. It indicates the zooming level. So here this gives the browser instruction to how to control the page dimensions and scaling. Okay, what that viewport or that element, what it is going to show, this gives the browser information, or this gives the instruction to the browser that how to control the pages dimensions and scaling with respective to the device. Okay, here the width is equal to device width part set the width of the page to follow the screen width of the device. Very simple. I think it's very simple term. Afterwards, you have to develop anything. You have to specify. You have to include anything in the web page. If you are going to mention the meta element with all these properties or all these attributes, then it is going to give the instruction to the browser that it is the what we are going to say. You have to stretch, you have to shrink the web page with respect to the screen width of a device. The width is equal to device width part set the width of the page to follow the screen width of the device, which will vary depending on the device. The initial scale is equal to 1.0 part set the initial zoom level when the page is first loaded by the browser, or it is going to show the initial zoom level whenever that particular web page is going to loaded on the browser by the browser. Then now it is going to start actual development of RWD, that is responsive web development or web designing. Again, it is having the as we have seen what do you mean by RWD and all that. Now I want to implement it on the for the website. So introduction to RWD techniques. Okay. RWD consists of three coding techniques. Basically, if you want to develop the responsive website, you have to use three coding techniques. With the help of that, we can develop the responsive web design. Okay. RWD consists of three coding techniques. First one is media query, then adapt content to specific screen size. Okay. Media queries, that means actually it is same like a viewport. Okay. Media queries, it will adopt the content according to the screen size. Whatever screen actually, but here we are going to specify the screen size. Okay, we are going to see it during execution time, so it will be more clear to you. Then fluid grids, that means you have to develop various layouts on a single browser or on the browser. Then flexible images and media that respond to change to the screen size. Okay, the flexible images, that means how to include the images and how the images are going to change according to the screen size. So, first of all, we are going to see media queries. Now, what happened in the media queries, or what is that technique which we are going to use to develop the RWD? Am I audible to all? Priyanka, am I audible? Prajakta?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the first technique, that is media queries, we are going to see adapt content to specific screen size. Actually, they have given in very short media queries. It is the technique, or it is a technique which is very useful to adapt the content. Whatever content you have in the web page, it should be managed. within that particular screen size. Okay, for that we require that media. Okay, media query is a CSS technique introduced in CSS 3. As I have told you, RWD development, it is again the combination of HTML and CSS. Okay, so media query is a CSS technique introduced in CSS 3. It uses the @media rule to include a block of CSS properties only if a certain condition is true. Okay, the important term or important sentence is here that CSS properties, or it will include a block of CSS properties only if a certain condition is true. That means if that particular condition is true, accordingly that properties will applicable on the screen. Okay, then media queries are CSS modules, or as some people like to say, just a conditional statement which tells the browser to use a specific type of style depending on the size of the screen and other factors such as a print, specific style or print. Okay, here is an example of media query. What is that example? Actually, it is not example. It is the simply the syntax. Now, how to specify the media query? Okay, in the HTML file. To specify the media query, what we have to write down here? @media only screen and minimum width colon 500 pixel. Then opening curly bracket and font family uh, sans serif. Okay, closing curly bracket. Okay, it is the syntax to specify the media query. Okay, it is the syntax to specify the media query. Okay, then media, now what once again we have to repeat the syntax. @media only screen and only screen, that means it is only for the screen, not for the print. Okay, and minimum width of your screen is 500 pixels. Then the font family is sans serif, and you have to close the. Then you have to specify other attributes also. But for example, we are going to take here only one attribute, that is font family sans serif. Okay, let's explain the preceding code. The media code means that it is a media type declaration, and the screen and part of the query is an expression or condition. In this case, it means only screen and not to print. Okay, that if you want to take the print of that particular page, then it is not it is what we are going to say, we cannot say it is print properly. Okay, but screen or soft screen, it will be visible to you whatever I have mentioned. Now we have here one example. We are going to see the example. Here, a meta name in the head tag. As everybody know, a style or the whatever content or whatever external content you require, you have to include it within a head tag. Okay, so a head tag is having the meta name where we are going to show the viewport. Okay, then we are going to start the style. Now, style, it's a simple style. Style body, opening curly bracket, background color is light green and closing curly bracket. Okay, that means I have a body element whose style is that the background color is light green. Okay, my first style is that. Now, I have a media with the help of media query. What I have to specify here, @media only screen and maximum width is 600 pixels. If my screen, if I have a screen and whose maximum width is 600 pixels, then your body or your background color should be light blue. Now, in this case, @media only screen and max width colon 600 pixels, it indicates that it is the condition. If maximum width is 600 of your device, are you getting it? If maximum width of your device is 600 pixels, then the background color of your web page is light blue. But if your screen or if your device screen is having the width less than 600, then at the time of that your background color is light green. Now the important part is that then you are going to think about then how to specify the width of mobile phone, how to specify the width of tablet, how to specify the width of desktop. Actually, whenever you are going to search it, the max width property of the screen on W3 school, then actually they have to specify the exact pixel size of mobile phone, tablet phone, and desktop. Okay. So are you getting it? What happened here? It is important part regarding the media query. The important part is that in the media query we are going to specify the condition. If that condition is true, then and then only the block of that property or block of that cascading style sheet or that style is going to implement. Otherwise, your style is not going to implement. Okay. Okay, then we have here body tag where resize the browser window when the width of this document is 600 pixels or less. The background color is light blue. Otherwise, it is light green. Okay. Maximum width 600 pixels, or that means below 600 also it is the light blue. Otherwise, light green. So we have to execute it. We are going to check it. What happened here? Okay. The screen size is light green because I think the width of that desktop screen is more than 600. Are you getting it? So if you want to execute it on the W3 school, then it will be more clear to you. So there is no need actually to execute it on the W3 school. Or if you are going to try it, you can try it on the W3 school also. So we have to check it what happened here. Yes, the code is same. Now, the result size is equal to, that means the screen size of this output window is 705 into 635. That means it is more than 600. Okay. If we have to change here, 900. Okay, it is light blue because this condition is going to satisfy the width of the output browser. Actually, here we are going to consider the width of browser. Width of browser. Okay, the browser size is 705 pixels. The width of the browser is 705 pixels. And what is the condition here? Maximum width. What? How much maximum width I required? 900 pixels. And here the 705. Okay, that means condition is going to true. Condition is going to true. That's why the background color is light blue. Are you getting it? लक्षात येते है? We cannot execute it or we cannot actually change here the size because desktop is having the more size. If we are going to change here 1500 pixels, it may be. If you know how to find out the maximum width, okay, here I think that means the browser width or your device width is less than 500 pixels, sorry, 1500 pixels. Are you getting it? For the next property, we are going to see that is orientation. It may be portrait or landscape. Okay, it is same like width. Actually, in the third, fourth slide, we have seen how to define this screen. Actually, that screen size and orientation. Okay. Mostly the important part or important parameters we are going to consider regarding the screen is the size of the screen and orientation of the screen. Okay, so we have seen the size. Okay. Again, I have to. I will add this slide which will specify the specific width of the various devices like desktop, tablet PC, and mobile phone. Actually, I'm not getting that content. That's why I have not included it. But every device is having the fixed size. Okay, so there will be no problem to specify the size. If you want to execute that particular web page on the mobile, then you have to specify the width of the maximum width of the mobile. If you want to specify the tablet, then you have to specify the specific size of the tablet. Okay, because tablet, mobile phone, and desktop, all these are having the specific width. Now here we are going to deal with the orientation. Again, it is having two type of orientation, as everybody knows. In the Microsoft Word, we have seen the orientation of the page, that is portrait and landscape. Portrait, that means the pages appear, which is having the height, and landscape, that means the page is occurs, which is having the maximum width. Okay. No. Media queries can also be used to change the layout of the page depending on the orientation of the browser. Okay. If your browser is landscape, then accordingly your page will be displayed. If your browser orientation is portrait, accordingly your web page is going to display on the browser. You can have a set of CSS properties that will only apply when the browser window is wider than its heights. So it is called the landscape orientation. As everybody knows, I think everybody knows the our portrait and landscape orientation. Just here we have to, instead of specifying the width, we have to specify here the orientation, portrait and uh, landscape. Okay, so we can execute it. So just we have to change only this part only. We have changed the color. Now here we are going to change the message here. Resize the browser window when the width, when the orientation, orientation of this document is orientation of, what is the true condition? Portrait. When the orientation is portrait, background color, background color is light blue, otherwise red. Okay, because the browser orientation is landscape, that's why it is in the red color. Okay, can we change the orientation of the browser here? Let's go to the session. I think we have a property where we can change the orientation of the browser also. If you got the orientation, you can change the orientation and accordingly you have to execute the same code. Okay, no problem. But we have an option to change the orientation of the browser also. Actually, or we can check it here. Okay. Again, the browser is the orientation is portrait. If you have to specify your landscape, sorry, landscape. If orientation is landscape, then the color is light blue. Color is light blue because the screen orientation is by default landscape. Are you getting it? If you have to specify here portrait, that means condition is false. So the background color is red. Okay, by default orientation is landscape. I think we can change the orientation here. You have to search. Okay, you can check it. You can search the orientation option of the browser. Accordingly, you have to change the orientation. But the by default orientation is landscape. Actually, the third coding technique is grid method. Actually, fluid grid method. But instead of that, first we are going to finish the images background image because it is little bit easy. Then we are going to move towards the fluid grid option or the fluid grid technique. Now here, the flexible images and media that respond to change to the screen size. That means your image or your media is going to change according to the screen size. Okay. Last but not the least important are the images and media, like videos. The problem with this with them is that they are elements that come with the fixed sizes. There are several approaches to fix this. Okay, as everybody know, image which is having a fixed size, and on that size we have to manage the all pixels. Okay, and video same. It is applicable for the videos also. So we have a, replacing dimension with the percentage value. All these are the techniques, or all these are the methods with the help of that we can manage the images and videos on the website. Okay, according to the screen size. So what are these techniques are several approaches to fix this. That is replacing dimensions with the percentage value, using maximum width, using background images only some of cases as these are not good for accessibility, using some libraries such as the Scott Gel picture fill, taking out the width and height parameter from the image tag and dealing with the dimension in CSS. All these are the approaches, all these are the methods with the help of that we can manage the images and videos on the screen. So, so we are going to see the first method out of that 4, 5, 6 methods. I think 5 methods. We have to finish two, three methods. So the first method is using the width property. Okay, if the width property is set to a percentage and the height property is set to auto, the image will responsive and scale up and down. Okay. Now what they have to specify? If you have to specify the width, or it is maybe 70%, 60%, 10%, 100%, and if you have to specify the height auto, that means your screen is going to adjust up and downside. Okay, the image will be responsive and scale up and down. Okay, so again we have a code here. where we have to specify the viewport. Okay, then I have an image which width is 100% and height is auto. Okay, then the body element which is having, where we are going to include the image, where we have to specify the width 460 and height 345. Resize the browser window to see how the image will scale. Okay, so we have to execute it. We are going to check what happened. Actually, we have to change the file because sorry, image, because we don't have an image on the desktop. PNG file is valid. Valid.png. Okay, that image is occurred according to the width and height which we have specified in the style. Here width is 100%. That means it will take complete width of the browser, image width, and height. We have to specify here auto. That means it will stretch up and down side to the image according to the browser size. Are you getting it? So what happen if you have to change here the width 50%? Okay. So accordingly, it will display the image 50% of your browser size. Are you getting it? There is no need here. Actually, again we have to specify here width and height of the image, but it is not applicable. Okay, it is completely depend on this size, or it indicates the browser. How much percentage you want to occupy on the browser? Okay, I want 50%. So according to the browser, if browser is having the 100 pixels, out of that only 50 pixels are going to occupy for the image. Regarding width and height, it is auto. That means it will stretch that image up and down, upside and downside, and accordingly it will fix the image to the complete browser. Okay. Are you getting it? It is occupy complete browser. If we have to specify the height is equal to atom, or height property is atom. Are you getting it? How to manage the image? There are various methods to manage the image, where we have to specify the width and height. It should be auto. Accordingly, it is going to manage the images. The next one is the using the maximum width property. Again, it is same maximum width property. That means 100%. It is the maximum. So just we have to specify here the max width is equal to 100%. So we have to check. In the previous section, we have seen width only. So we have to specify here image max width 100%. Okay. Max width, again it is now it is related to the image. Okay, whatever image maximum width we have specified 100%. Whatever image is available, same image is going to display on the browser. So can we resize the browser? Resize the browser. Okay, if we have to zoom out, zoom in, accordingly it is going to change. Now, if we you have to specify this property. If the max width property is set to 100%, the image will scale down. If it has to, but never scale up to be larger than its original size. Okay, whenever we have to specify the maximum width property, at that time your images scale down, but it will not scale up to be a large than its original size. Then third one is the background images. Background images can also respond to resizing and scaling. Here we will show three different methods. Again, with the help of that we can manage the background image. First one is, if the background size property is set to contain the background image. Actually, we have one attribute, that is background size, and which is having the value content, cover, and 100%. 100%. Okay, these three methods we have. With the help of that, we can manage the images, or we can manage the background images. So out of that first value we are going to see, that is content. That means background size colon content. Whenever we have to specify background size content, what happen? The background image will scale and try to fit the content area. However, the image will keep its aspect ratio, the proportional relationship between the image width and height. Okay, content, that means whatever image is that it completely fixed, or it will be whatever, what we are going to see, whatever image we have, it is fixed on that particular block. Are you getting it? Okay, when your content, that means now whatever my original image is, that it is going to display on the screen. If we are going to specify background size property is having the value content, that means whatever original image is, that it is going to display on the screen on that particular block. Okay, we have here the code, so we have to execute it. Wait for the 5 minutes, sir. Don't leave the meeting. Okay, I will back.
Thank you for doing this back.
Okay, we have to execute the same code.
सांगा की
It is the block where we have to fix the image. But I think we have not changed the image.
ठीक है ये ठीक है डाटाबेस है ना उसमें हाँ डाटाबेस है नहीं नहीं एक्चुअली के बाद थोड़ा राइट हैंड वाले सेटिंग कर हाँ
Non-machine.
हाँ हाँ जो हम लोग का
It will occur in the block, whatever block we have specified. Now some spaces remain here. Whatever image size we have, accordingly that image is occur on the browser size. Okay. Now what happened here? We have a next property. If the background size property is set to 100%, 100%, the background image will stretch to cover the entire content area. If you want to specify the background size property 100%, 100%, that means if your image is less than that your element or your block, then it will stretch the image itself, and then it is fixed into that complete block. Okay, so just we have to specify here the instead of background size content, we have to play right here 100%, 100%. That means it will occupy complete block. Here div is one block. Okay. With the help of that background size property, we have to occupy the block. Okay. It is going to stretch that particular image and it is fixed on that particular block. If we have to specify the background size is 100%, 100%. If background size is content, that means whatever original image is that it is going to display on the block. It will not bother about the size of the block. Okay. Whatever image is that it is fixed on that particular block only. Same one more property we have here, that is cover. If the background size property is set to cover, the background image will scale to cover the entire content area. Notice that cover value keeps the aspect ratio and some part of the background image may be clear. Okay, if you want to specify the background size is cover, that means it will cover complete block. It will cover complete block. So it will clip or it will clip some area of the image. Then we have to specify here. It is going to cover the complete block only, but some image is going to clip. Are you getting it? we have to change here the image. Okay, there is no need to change it. Are you getting it? Three properties or three background size property. First one is content. It will display original image. Then we have a property. It's at 100%, 100%. That means it will occupy complete block. Then third one is background size is cover. That sorry, 100%, 100%. That means it will occupy complete block with the image only. Okay, so it will stretch the image. But in the cover, if we are going to set the property cover, that means it will display the image on complete block or on complete 100% block. But what we are going to say, some image part is going to clip. It is not fixed in the given block, so that's why the some image part is going to clip. Now, third one is the third technique. Actually, it is the third coding technique. With the help of that, we can develop RWD, that is fluid grid or flexible layouts. Normally, whenever you are developing the website, that means we have to add some columns and some rows. Accordingly, we have to divide complete browser into the different blocks or into the different columns and rows. This concept is nothing but the grid, and we require the flexible layout to make the flexible website. So what is a grid view? Many web pages are based on the grid view, which means that the page is divided into columns. Building a responsive grid view, let's start building a responsive grid view. First, ensure that all HTML elements have the box sizing property set to border box. Okay, whatever elements we have which is having the property that is box sizing, and we have to specify the value of that box sizing property is border box. This makes sure that the padding and border are included in the total width and height of the element. Okay, that border box, it indicates that the complete, it will create the block of the respective element. Okay, so the next, add the following code in your CSS. Here we have a star, opening curly bracket, box size, border box. Read more about the, okay, actually they have given here the chapter name where we can read more about the box sizing. And accordingly, we have to divide the complete browser into 25% and in 75%. Here we have a code where we have to specify how to divide the block. So we have to execute it. So we have to execute it first of all, then we are going to see the explanation. Okay, so your screen is divided into the different blocks. Okay, these are nothing but the grid. That means your screen is going to divided into the different blocks. These are nothing but the grid. Now I can move this block at the left side. I can move this block at the down side. I can move this block at the left side, right side. Anywhere I can move that particular blocks. Okay, so we have to check the code here. Now first we have to add the viewport as a with the help of meta element. Then in the style we have here we have to add, there is a syntax to add the box size border box. Within a style we are going to add star opening curly bracket box size colon border box and uh, close the border. That means whatever blocks we have to create it, the size of that border is border box. Okay, or box size is which we specify with the border box. Then we have a header whose header, that means the first block or the first it is, I think it is the header. Chania, China is the header. So what we have to specify here, header border is 1 pixel solid red. So we have to check the border, sorry, change the border so it will be more clear to you. To make the no, लेकिन border of the black. Okay, ठीक है. Then menu with 25% float of left of padding 15 border on this is main. Now it is a style sheet which is specified, and that style sheet that is header is the variable as we have seen header. If you want to create the variable and variable, it is represent that particular style. Now we are going to use that variables here as a class. Okay, here head body div class header. That means whatever properties we have to specify for the header, that all properties are applicable on the that particular div element. Okay, so that particular div element is having the content China, and which is having the border whose color is black and which is 1 pixel which is solid, and padding is 15 pixels. Okay, it is applicable on the first grid or on the first row. The next div element which is having the menu. Now menu style is having width 25%. Float left. That float left means it will occur at the left side of your browser. Float left, that means that particular div element will occur at the left side of your border here. This one, the flight, the city, then Iceland, the food. It is occur at the left side of the browser because the float is equal to left. If we have to specify here, float is right, then it will occur at the right hand side. Okay. Then we have to specify any content here, no problem. Then third block we have which is having the main. Now main which is having the width 75%. Okay, then float left. Uh, then padding 15 pixels, border and red. Okay, I'm going to change here the color of the border. To make it green. You can change any color, no problem. Okay. Accordingly, it is going to create the grids. Okay. Here we have to specify the float right for that particular block. So it is occurred at the right hand side. It is occurred at the left hand side. China, it is header. Header. It is not actually the header. Actually, it is the one row. Okay. Padding. It indicates that it is the width from border to that content. Okay, suppose we have to change the padding here, 15 instead of 15, we have to mention here 50. We have to check what happens. Okay. It is going to increase the size of left hand side, top, bottom, and right hand side. Right hand side is actually it is not increased from the right hand side, but it is increased the size from top, bottom, and left hand side. The next topic is that responsive web design framework. As I have told you, it will gives you a ready-made framework. With the help of that we can develop the web application. Okay, responsive web design framework. Here are many free CSS frameworks that offer responsive design using W3.css. Okay, mostly all these facilities are available in the CSS. So we have a w3.css file. With the help of that, we can develop our web application. So simply we have to link w3.css file within our HTML file, and you have to use all the cascading style sheet for your web application. A great way to create a responsive design is to use a responsive style sheet like w3.css. Actually, it's a very good opportunity to you. If you want to develop the responsive website, just you have to link the w3.css style sheet within your code, and your website is a responsive. W3.css makes it easy to develop sites that look nice at any size. Here we have to specify here link. Actually, it is the online sites. It is available online. So we have to just simply copy that particular path, or return copy same. Here it is the path where, okay, it is the path it is the path of the cascading style sheet which we have to include in our HTML file. Afterwards, you can write anything, or you can develop a web page, whatever you want. But whatever elements you are going to use, if that element is having some style in the w3.css file, then same style is going to be applicable to your web page. Are you getting it? So here. Okay, it is the example there we have to execute, or where we are going to use the same uh, framework. So we have to execute it. We are going to check what happens. Okay, simply we have to link w3.css cascading style sheet within our program, in our HTML file, and it is a ready-made framework which is available to you to develop your web application. Okay. Okay, here that class is equal to W3 container, W3 green. All these are the styles which are defined in the W3.css cascading style. And all these are applicable for that respective division, DIV heading. Are you getting it? I am not specifying anything in my code. Here I am not specifying the background color for the div is green and all. Okay, all these styles are well defined within a w3.css file. And just I have to include a w3.css framework style sheet, or we can say now we can say it is a framework. Just I have to include it with the help of link variable, link element, and I'm going to use the property whatever it is defined within a w3.css. Are you getting it? Okay, so the remaining part we are going to see for the next lecture, because Bootstrap for it required actually one installation to execute online offline Bootstrap loader, or if you want to execute the Bootstrap then you have to install something, Bootstrap loader. So it will take more time, and we are going to start freshly the Bootstrap 4 tutorial, from introduction to this, how to execute it, sorry, how to install it, how to download it, how to install it, how to execute the program with the help of Bootstrap. Basically, Bootstrap, again, it is useful to develop the responsive web applications. But again, it is a framework actually, which is available to us to develop the web application. And with the help of that Bootstrap framework, whatever web applications we have developed, it is a responsive web application. Okay, so simply just you have to remember that Bootstrap is the framework which is readily available to us. Okay, like we are going to use w3.css. Okay, that framework or that cascading style sheet is ready-made available to me. Just I'm using my elements, and according to the style is apply on that particular element. Okay, so Bootstrap tutorial, again, it is a framework which it will give us the various cascading style sheet, and we are going to develop our own web page, and accordingly the styles are going to apply on that particular web page. Okay, but it requires some, actually it does not require installation, but you have to create your own folder where you have to copy the Bootstrap cascading style sheet, and then we are going to use it for your application. Okay, it's a very simple concept is that Bootstrap. So at the next lecture, we are going to see how it is going to install, what is the use, where it is going to available, what is online Bootstrap, what is offline Bootstrap, and we are going to see some examples. And again, the remaining part, like Twitter Bootstrap, we have to finish at the next lecture. So we have to stop here.